all right. Salute, salute. We are here in the African platform, African ancestrality platform. Yeah, we are here to learn what the ancestors have done and have left behind, the things the colonists worked so hard to erase. So the colonists had a mission, and the mission was to fight against African spirituality. But African spirituality is nothing other than science. It's pure science. What you call today quantum mechanics, quantum physics. It's African science. So it is science basically in a different paradigm. And if you have a doubt, I'm going to play this video I played yesterday, right? This is from a scientist, American, who actually went to Senegal, and he got initiated. He got initiated into the Bamana Divination sand of the Bambara people in Mali. So he got initiated in the Bamana sand divination, and he's a whitey dude right there. So they are ready. Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. They are ready to go in Africa to get initiated. But we are the son of the continent of Africa. We are talking down on our ancestor. We are talking down on black people. It is sickening, right, to see black people doing that. And we are so busy going to church every Sunday, going to the Bible study, going to the mosque. But you know what's going on? The real stuff is these people, they're coming to Africa, right? They get initiated, and when they go back home, they write little article that helps the programmer, the computer scientist, right, to come up with new stuff, right? Let me take you to an article this man has written when he came back from Africa, right? Let me take you to I think it's 342. Should be right here, right? So when this man came from the initiation process with the DOGON, yo, he wrote an article, and what they learned from the Bamana people actually helped them to improve the Google search browser. Yes, the Google search engine, and also it helped them improve some of the browser capability, right? And because the Bamana people are using what we call deterministic chaos. Wow. And they're using a recursive system that self-arrange itself. They do not have verses behind every sign. They let the sign speak for itself. They let the signs generate a narrative depending on the numbers that were generated, right? They want to call it pseudo-random, right? They want to say that, oh, it's random, but you know, it's not really random, right? So, and in this document here, let me put you this document. Where is it? Let me find. this document here, I'm going to show you something. When it comes to IFA, right? And I'm going to tell you to, let's type the keyword RB. Right, searching. Yeah, you can read this for yourself. Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Welcome to the live. The U.S. Army developed and used the same principle to improve its computer data system and organization in the 60s. It is the same principle which has been generalized and is currently at the basis of the great computer data and audio revolution. It is this very principle that was the basis of the research of English mathematician Bowley at the end of the 19th century. Damn. Let me get my coffee, guys. Let me get my coffee. 10 seconds. I'll be back. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right. Now, we have here IFA, European American are going to Africa to get initiated, to learn on the ancestral scientific knowledge of the African people and the black people in general. After they have sent colonists in the continent of Africa to get the people away from their traditional ancestral way of venerating the ancestor. They said, no, 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 no. We have something better for you. Take this Bible. Right? And the Arabs did the same thing. No, you're practicing witchcraft and magic. You need to stop it. Take this Quran. Right? We're going to open mosque. So now that the black man and the black woman are too busy to go to church, people, are becoming more and more pastors in Africa. It became a business. They have planted the seed of churches, mosque, imam, and they are gone. But they know they planted the seed, right? They left after they knew the damages that will follow will be mind-blowing. They left after they planted the seed. You see, they made sure a huge amount of black people were converted into Christianity. They made sure a huge amount of black people were converted into Islam, because they knew those people were the seed, and they will transfer over, right, They will pass on the baton to those to come. Like, hey, you see that plant over there? That's the Christianity tree growing. You have to water it, right? So the Muslim, they've been watering the seed for Islam. The Islam tree is growing. They've been feeding and watering the plant for Islam, the Islamic plant or tree. Same thing with Christianity, right? Black people are maintaining and making sure the Christian tree or plant is growing well by watering the plant and feeding the plant for Christianity in Africa. So the colonists, they knew exactly when to leave, when to go. They knew it. They knew exactly. So now, these days, we are busy going to church, going to the mosque. This is what these people are doing. They're going into Africa and they are learning about our stuff. And then when they come back, right, look at that, improving its computer data system and organization. Wow. Right? Being the principle of IFA, being at the basis of the great computer data and audio revolution. Wow. The same very system, right, that was the basis of the research of English mathematician Boole. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. All right. So I'm gonna play a video, right? I'm not going to put the video on camera, but you will just hear, right? You will just hear it. It's only 4 minutes, right? And then I played it yesterday and we got flagged because I had it on the screen. So I'm gonna put it on this side. And we're gonna come here. We can go to the book, right? The man speaking wrote, right? He wrote the book. Let me refresh this. This is Ifa, Ron Eglash. Right? He wrote an article. So I can put the article there, or I can just put here, right, the information he gathered from the Bamana people in this column here, right? He got the process, right, on how the Bamana people generated those numbers, right? And then he took it back home, and then it helped into the new computer system revolution, right? So there's what they call deterministic chaos, man. So our ancestors have been using even parity check, but we do not have the exact same term like in the English language, but they've been using the principle, calling it under different names because they don't speak English, right? So let me play the video at minute 11. I'm gonna start at 11. It's 4 minutes. Let's see here. All right.
Lengths of straw, put it on a log-log plot, got the scaling exponent, and it almost exactly matches the scaling exponent for the relationship between wind speed and height in the engineering handbook. So these guys are right on target for a practical use of scaling technology. The most complex example of an algorithmic approach to fractals that I found was actually not in geometry, it was in a symbolic code. And this was Bamana sand divination. And the same divination system is found all over Africa. You can find it on the East Coast as well as the West Coast. And often the symbols are very well preserved. So each of these symbols has 4 bits. It's a 4-bit binary word. You draw these lines in the sand randomly. And then you count off, and if it's an odd number, you put down 1 stroke, and if it's an even number, you put down 2 stroke. And they did this very rapidly, and I couldn't understand where they were getting, they only did the randomness 4 times. I couldn't understand where they were getting the other 12 symbols. And they wouldn't tell me. They said, no, I can't tell you about this. I said, well, look, I'll pay you. You can be my teacher, and I'll come each day and pay you. I said, it's not a matter of money. This is a religious matter. And finally, out of desperation, I said, well, let me explain George Cantor in 1877. And I started explaining, why I was there in Africa. And they got very excited when they saw the Cantor set. And one of them said, come here, I think I can help you out here. And so he took me through the initiation ritual for a Bamana priest. And of course, I was only interested in the math, so the whole time he kept shaking his head going, I didn't learn it this way. But I had to sleep with a cola nut next to my bed, buried in sand, and give 7 coins to 7 lepers, and so on. And finally, he revealed the truth of the matter. And it turns out it's a pseudo-random number generator. They're using deterministic chaos. When you have a 4-bit symbol, you then put it together with another one sideways. So even plus odd gives you odd. Odd plus even gives you odd. Even plus even gives you even. Odd plus odd gives you even. It's addition modulo 2, just like in the parity bit check on your computer. And then you take this symbol and you put it back in, so it's a self-generating diversity of symbols. They're truly using a kind of deterministic chaos in doing this. Now, because it's a binary code, you can actually implement this in hardware. What a fantastic teaching tool that should be in African engineering schools. And the most interesting thing I found out about it was historical. In the 12th century, Hugo of Santillana brought it from Islamic mystics into Spain. And there it entered into the alchemy community as geomancy, the divination through the earth. This is a geomantic chart drawn by for King Richard II in 1390. Leibniz, the German mathematician, talked about geomancy in his dissertation called De Combinatoria. And he said, well, instead of using 1 stroke and 2 strokes, let's use a 1 and a 0. And we can count by powers of 2. Right? 1s and 0s, the binary code. George Gould took Leibniz's binary code and created Boolean algebra, and John von Neumann took Boolean algebra and created the digital computer. So all these little PDAs and laptops, every digital script in the world started in Africa. And I know Brian Eno says there's not enough African computers, but I don't think there's enough African history in Brian Eno. So let me end with just a few words about applications that we've found for this. And you can go to our website. The applets are all free. They just run in the browser. Anybody in the world can use them. The National Science Foundation's Broadening Participation in Computing program recently awarded us a grant to make a programmable version of these design tools. So hopefully in 3 years, anybody will be able to go on the web and create their own simulations of their own artifacts. We focused in the U.S. on African-American students as well as Native American and Latino. We found statistically significant improvement with children using this software in the mathematics class in comparison with a control group that did not have the software. So it's really very successful teaching children that they have a heritage.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance and I saved hundreds. With all the money I saved, thought I'd buy stilts. Hi, honey. Oh, look. No line at the hot dog stand.
Yes.
Only pay for what you need.
That's about mathematics, that it's not just about singing and dancing. We've started a pilot program in Ghana. We got a small seed grant just to see if folks would be willing to work with us on this. We're very excited about that future possibilities for that. We've also been working in design. I didn't put his name up here. My colleague Kerry in Kenya has come up with this great idea for using fractal structure for postal address in villages that have fractal structures. Because if you try to impose a grid structure postal system on a fractal village, it doesn't quite fit. Bernard Chumi at Columbia University has been interested in using this in a design for a Museum of African Art. David Hughes at Ohio State University has written a primer on Afrocentric architecture in which he's used some of these fractal structures. And finally, I just wanted to point out that this idea of self-organization, as we heard earlier, it's in the brain. It's in it's in Google's search engine. Actually, the reason Google was such a success is because they were the first ones to take advantage of the self-organizing properties of the web. It's in ecological sustainability. It's in the developmental power of entrepreneurship. You heard earlier, it's in the brain. It's in it's in Google's search engine. Actually, the reason Google was such a success is because they were the first ones to take advantage of the self-organizing properties of the web. It's in ecological sustainability. It's in the developmental power of entrepreneurship, the ethical power of democracy. It's also in some bad things. Self-organization is why the AIDS virus is spreading so fast. And if you don't think that capitalism, which is self-organizing, can have destructive effects, you haven't opened your eyes enough. So we need to think about, as was spoken earlier, the traditional African methods for doing self-organization. These are robust algorithms. These are ways of doing self-organization, of doing entrepreneurship that are gentle, that are egalitarian. So if we want to find a better way of doing that kind of work, we need to look only no farther than Africa to find these robust self-organizing algorithms. Thank you.
Wow. You heard it. You heard it. We played this yesterday, and I had to restart the live because, right. They were not too happy that I played it, and exposing, more and more, this African black people greatness, right? We are not just about singing and dancing. We are not just about singing and dancing, y'all, right? We are better and we are more than that, right? So we were breaking down yesterday the Bamana. Oh, someone is on the D only. Welcome to the live. Let me.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, I'm really enjoying you, and I just want to add to it. I just want to add to it about this system. I could remember one day I was listening to an old man, on YouTube discussing about how this computer started. So, but I forgot the name of this white man that was in Nigeria, came to study this IFA, So, and then after that, when the man now have the opportunity to travel to UK, then he discovered that the name of this very particular person that came to study IFA is the father of computer in UK.
Wow.
So 100%, this system, because this very particular man came to Nigeria to study IFA. He came to Nigeria to study IFA, and then he went there to create this computer, I guess.
Amazing.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, and so many things. Even and this IFA also is related to Egypt system. You know what I mean? And I could also remember, a few weeks ago, I was on YouTube, listening to the king of Yoruba, he was talking about the meaning of Pharaoh, and then he said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh is Ifa, is Fa, this Ifa. Ra, Ri is Ori. Ao is Awo. That means Ifa is this, a mathematical system. Ori is head. We all know that, right? And then Awo is the priestess name. So he said it came from, he said this is the name of the leader in Egypt that time, see this is how they called it, so I believe and I accept almost everything you are talking about, that it's really true, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
This is amazing, bro.
Yeah.
This is
Exactly.
amazing. And I wanted to, yeah, we knew that this year, and we knew that the computer system comes from IFA. It
Yeah.
comes from other divination system in Africa.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm studying and I'm searching around for any presence of divination system, right? Because I'm trying to link up,
Exactly.
and I think we all connected. Whether you're from Southern Africa, East Africa, or
Exactly.
Central or West, I think we all connected. If you go far back in the past, if you
Exactly.
go back, because we all have the same phenotype,
Yes,
same
even
head,
even
same
different.
skin.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Even they have different counting, and it still
yeah,
result to the same. This
exactly.
a different divination. I mean, and they are all, some count it in 16, in all these eight, four
Right.
right, four left, and then some use only four. Some use three. I think four is the number one, because it's like positive and negative. So one. I mean, you understand what I mean? If two
Yes.
is
Yeah.
so, two down, two up, or three down, three up. Everything has different meaning, and it's really good information, and it's really working for the people. So I
Right.
guess.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So you mentioned something about Pharaoh,
Pharaoh,
man.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Let me write that. So okay,
Yeah.
Pharaoh. It's like
Yeah.
that. Pharaoh,
No.
right? So we're
Yeah.
gonna do this. Let's do this together,
Okay.
and I'm gonna
So
search more on
so
that. So
so
Pha
is
is Fa,
yeah.
right?
Ifa. It's
Yeah.
called Ifa.
Yeah.
In Yoruba means Ifariawo. Yoruba means
Okay.
Ifariawo.
Okay. So I'm
If
gonna start with Ifa
yeah,
or Fa, because in Benin and Togo they
it's
call
Fa.
Ifa Fa. They say
Fa,
Fa.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or Afa,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So now that's Fa is
Yeah.
for Ifa,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do Ra is for, you said Ori.
Uri, yeah,
So Ra can also be the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna put Ori because
Uri.
the sun, right? The image of the sun, or the representation of the sun within men, right? It's the
Okay.
Ori. It's the Ori.
Uri.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when we say the sun or the Ori is the same thing, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna put here Ori, but I'm gonna put
Uri.
Ori. Now,
Okay.
note something here. When
Yeah.
you say Ori, you can
Yeah.
pronounce that Ora.
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 Okay.
Yeah, because the I sound, right? You can say Ora.
Exactly.
But in
Exactly.
Yoruba language, they say Ori, not Ora, right? Ora is
Uri.
something, it will be
Exactly.
something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna put Ori,
Okay.
and then the remaining is
And
what?
the last one is Awo. Awo.
Awo.
AWO.
Okay. Okay,
Like,
hold on.
oh yeah. AWO. That means the third one, right?
Yeah. So let me move this. So the last one will be Awo.
Awo. Exactly.
AWO.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And that will be for the OH.
Priest. Like for the priest. It's called priest.
Okay.
It's called priest.
Awo.
Yeah.
Oh. Now,
AWO.
what if we take the AOH into Pharaoh?
Is
Ow, because we have ow here, and we can
you know,
maybe say
you
the
know.
R. We can double the R.
Right,
We can
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
When you
because
say
it's short
Pharaoh,
anyway. Yeah.
you can say
If
Pharaoh,
yeah,
right?
if
Pharaoh. Yeah.
exactly, because if you call it in Yoruba, it's called Ifarawo.
Okay, Ifarao.
You know.
Okay.
That means Pharaoh, or if you remove the I, it's called Pharaoh.
Okay. Uh, now I need to research on this
Okay.
because the term pharaoh, we are told,
Yeah.
was a term brought into Kemet by the Greek. I could be wrong. Or maybe
It's
this is
wrong.
one way for them to push us away from researching on Pharaoh. Maybe
Even
it was
even
there, it was
it's true.
pronounced
It's wrong.
differently. Yeah,
Even
go
when you
ahead.
look the counting, sorry, sir. If you look the counting of counting number of the Greek, those Roman counting,
Hmm.
exactly the counting of we African, we start it by plus and minus. So when we count 15, we said minus 5. If you are going to say minus 20, 15. 16 is minus 4.
Hmm.
17 is minus 3. This is how we count it by mentioning it. So when you
Okay.
get to 20, when you say 21, say plus 1, plus 1. You say plus 20, plus 20, 1 plus 20, and 2 plus 20, 3 plus 20,
Hmm.
4 plus 20, 5 plus 20. When you get to 25, 5 plus 20, you now say minus 30, 4 minus 30, 3 minus something that way. And this is exactly the way Latin mathematics looks as well. So,
Yeah.
because when you look at the history anyway, the civilization moved from Egypt to Greek, isn't? If I'm saying it correctly, you know what I mean? So they might have it from that area, even
Okay.
the mathematical counting as well.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dion Lee,
Yeah,
for bringing additional information,
yeah. Thank you very
valuable
much.
information. We're gonna continue searching on that.
All right. Okay.
And then you can stay, and maybe if you can mute. But if you have
Okay.
any comment or anything to say, unmute
Okay.
and stop me. Okay.
All right. I'll do that.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So this year, guys, is a counting system. We're gonna quickly go through the counting system of some African clans. This is the Bambara numerals. Bambara numerals. I find this mind blowing on the beauty, the structure, the harmony with nature and things around us. Bro, look at how they start. You see how in African culture, the zero is something really, we usually say in Yoruba Ifa, Ifa does not live into an empty house. Ifa does not live into a house that is empty. So the zero thing concept, it is a Western concept. See? Now, this is where they start with a one. This is in Bamana, y'all. Single stroke for a one, double stroke for a two, three strokes for a three, four strokes for four, five strokes for five, six, seven. Now, when they get to eight, it's going to be the seven with a horizontal crossing going across it. Let me zoom in, right? Right? I can see properly. The nine, you see, is the eight, and then you add one more tiny stroke onto it. I just want to show you the pattern and the beauty. Now, we're moving to the 10. 10, 11, 12, 13. Same process all the way to 19. You see how the brother mentioned earlier? That in count of 20. You see how from 1 to 20, from 1 through 19 is the same, basically strokes, right? It's the strokes. And then you have the horizontal going through. So from 1 to 19 is the same, basically pattern or shape, right? When you get to 20, you start switching. You switch at 20. The 20 is the circle. You see that? The 21, you put a tiny stroke. somewhere around it, it looked like 1 o'clock, right? At 1 o'clock, you have a stroke. That's 21, single stroke. 22, you have, right, the 1 o'clock and, right, and something. It's close to 3 o'clock, 1 and 2. You have the 1 o'clock and the 2 o'clock right there, right? You have 22. 23, 24, they skip 23. 24, right, you have 4 strokes. 29, you have 9 strokes. 30, you switch, right? You switch from to a square. So you see how you move from the 20 series, you have a circle and you just add stroke around it. For the 30 series, you have a square and you're adding strokes around it. Look at the beauty, the pattern, and how it is so in harmony with symbolism. I find this mind-blowing. And this is supposed to be primitive hunter-gatherers. 40. Look at the 40. Bam. 42, you put 2 stroke. 49, you put 9 stroke under. 50, you swap, you flip, right? You flip the 40, you get the 50 series. And then you start marking off the top, 59. Now, the 60, it look like a circle, and then you have a line going through from 12 o'clock, but it's a little curved, right? 61, you put 1 dot inside. 65, you put 5 dot inside. 69, you put 9 dot. And then you switch, you go to the 70 series. The 70 series, you start with the X, right? 71, 72, 73, 74. What do we notice here? The so-called, the sign of, the hitman, the German hitman sign. Was not something new into the African numerology within the Bambara. We kind of like see that here. We also see the symbol where? In Hindu. In Hindu. And there is an upcoming live, right, about African people migrating out of Africa. And I'm going to show with salient proof that the so-called Hindu region was inhabited by African people first. We were the first in that region, right? We brought language, we brought symbolism with us. I got the source here. Let me see if it is open, right? And I showed this the other day. The Bamana divination symbol is found within what we call the rune, the Hindu rune. I should have that open here. Hold on. Right? I should still have the source open here. It's from JSTOR, right? Let me open that. I think it is important that we do that again. We show that again. So where is my saved? And then JSTOR. It's not too far. So let me show that quickly. Right. So this is JSTOR. J. Let me search here. Right here. This is from JSTOR. All right. This is the source. It's very reliable. Look at that. And let's look at, we can start here. When in 1948-49, I was carrying out research on divination by means of the jackal, Yurugu, among the Dogon, I came to the conclusion that the pictographs used in this form of divination amounted to a system of writing and ventured to suggest a connection between some of these signs and certain, right, and certain of the root of the ancient Hindu alphabet, right? So it's no surprise, it is no surprise, right, that we have the symbol within. It's no surprise that we have the symbol, right, in Hindu. Yes, you're going to see the symbol in Hindu. It wasn't just in Hindu. In Bambara counting system, it's reflected here. So we're going to use this type of information to trace, right, and to make the connection, because there are people who thinks that, it was the Hindu people who came to North Africa and they brought agriculture. Someone did a video on that, right? We are the oldest people on the planet, right? When it comes to science, agriculture, we were the first. So the so-called Hindu people are not going to teach us how to practice agriculture or farming, right? Now, let's move on. This is the 70 series. As you can see, when you get to 9, you switch, right? 9 is the switching. So over here, I said 2019 was the switching. So when you get to 9, you start a new pattern, right? I think that's what they did here. So the switching is 9, not 20 here, right? Let me take that back and make some correction. It looks like the switching is 9, right? Not 20. Now, look at the 80 series, the dot, and then you put stroke on the outside, right? 81, a stroke at 1 o'clock. 82, a stroke at 2 o'clock. 85, 5 strokes, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and so on. 89, oh, look at the shape of 89. Then you switch to a new pattern. 90, 91, 92, 95, 99, 100, right? You switch to a new pattern. Look at that. 100, 101, 103, 109, bam, 110, right? 111, and so on. So on this one, it looks like they continue after the 9. They continue with the same pattern by adding strokes due to the nature of the symbol, right? This symbol allow for more stroke to be passed through, so they kept it all the way to 119. I find this mind-blowing. 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125. Look at these beautiful shapes and patterns. We've seen this symbol before, right? In Phoenician or Greek language, right? We've seen this before. We've seen it look like a P. We know the symbol, right? It's part of the Bamana county system. Look at 180, 189. This is a counting system that I have never seen that anywhere else, right? Maybe there are other counting systems out there, but this way of counting and the shape, the beauty, and how they switch from one symbol to the next, it's amazing. I have never seen that nowhere else, not yet, right? I'm not saying that this is the only place where we have this, but the beauty here is just beyond imagination, the beauty of the counting. And this is the Bambara numerals, right? And we have many more of other numerals coming here. This is the mandate. Now, we have to do some work here, right? We need to find out the timeline of the Bambara symbol, because let's not forget, right? The Muslim and the Christian contact during colonization, some stuff could have been inserted or borrowed, right? So we need to look into it. So my main target is the Bambara. I want to know the timeline of the Bambara numerals. So we have Mende here. As we can see, this Mende, it looks like Arabic to me, right? It looked like they added Arabic symbol. We have the Nebe Igbo numerals, right? This is the Ndebe Igbo numerals, which is interesting as well. So we need to have the timeline, right? We have the which one? This is the Arabic alphabetic numerals, right? Which we know the Arabic has a lot of connection with the Meroitic language. Yes, the Arabic has a lot of connection with Meroitic, right? We're gonna go back. We spoke about this already. So here we have Ethiopic. You see, Ethiopic language and Hebrew, very close. The Ethiopic Gematria, Hebrew and Greek. There is a deep connection between those languages. Right? Now, let's go back to, so we're going back to the Bamana, right? We're going back to the Bamana. I played this video yesterday, right? We just played it again this morning. So, yesterday, we were breaking this thing down. This is from the Book of Fate of Emperor of France, Napoleon, right? Okay, so we had this side by side with the DOGON. So let me bring in the DOGON or the Bambara document here. We had, let me open that document again. So this is the book we were using this yesterday, and we were doing a comparative analysis with the process described in the book and the process described in the so-called book of the Emperor of France, right? The Book of Fate, right? The Book of Fate, formerly in the possession of Napoleon, late Emperor of France. And now first rendered into English from a German translation of an ancient African manuscript. Ancient Egypt is a way to take the story of a continent away. It's one way for the invader to basically absorb the greatness and the knowledge of a continent. They invented and created a word called Egypt, right? In order to include themselves into the story of Kemet. So here, since they want to play the game with us, we are going to say ancient African manuscript, right? They want to play games. We're going to play the same games, right? So we're going to read ancient African manuscript, right? Now, in this book here, we have studied and read, right, the process of the oracle in generating the numbers. So let me go here. So let me go to page, let me just type zodiac. There you go. So we took the time to read and study, right, the process of generating the number here. We took the time to study the process of generating the number over here within the Bamana, right there. They start out we're drawing, right, 12 stroke before the comma, right? Let me use, you see here, right before the comma, you have 12 stroke. Right before the comma, you have 12 stroke. And what comes after the stroke is drawn randomly. And if you have 3 or 4, you check the parity. So here you proceed with what we call parity check. 3 is odd, it's going to be a single star. 2 is even, it's double. 5 is odd, it's going to be single star. 2 is even, double star. 4 is even, double star. You see that? Now, here within the Bamana, they draw 4 rows randomly in the sand. And then they start pairing, right? They start pairing 2 by 2. And whatever is left, you perform the parity check on the rest of this. You will always have either none or 1 left, right? If all of them were able to pair up, you are left with none. None is even, 0. You have 0. 0 is an even number. If you have 1 stroke left, then you write the single bar. So this is how the Bamana people would generate, right, sets of number. And you do like this 4 times, right? And you will generate the first 4 number. Now, for the 5th number, right? For the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th number, you just take the first original 4 set of number that you generated, you flip it. So basically, you take the first row, right? And you make a number out of the first row. You see how applying that rule from move from here to here. So this number here, right? This number here is going to be 1 1 2 1. You see here, 1 1 2 1. So technically we are reading vertically, but to form the next 4 set of number, you read horizontally and then you place it vertically. So this one is going to be 1 1 2 1, right? This one is going to become second number right here, 2 1 1 2, right there, 2 1 1 2. This one is going to become 1 2 2 2, right? 1 2 2 2. The last one, 2 1 1 1, 2 1 1 1. Then you have formed 8 numbers. Then the next one, right? You take the original 4 number, which are here, and then you perform the parity on them. 1 1, even, odd and odd is odd. I'm sorry, odd and odd is even, right? Odd and odd, if you add 2 odd number, you get an even number. So 1 and 1 is double bar. Odd and odd gives you even. Odd, even and odd gives you odd. Odd and even gives you odd, right? Even and odd gives you odd. On this one, you do the same rule. You get, right, new numbers. You basically get 8, 9, 10, 11 number. And then you continue on by applying the same rule, and you're going to obtain your number all the way to 15. You see that right there? Beautiful, beautiful. And then the last sign, which is the 16th sign, is going to be the first and the last one. The very first sign and the 15th sign, right? And according to the Dogon, our realm called Earth is in the 15th house, in the 15th sign. And the one to come, the next realm, the realm to come is in the 16th sign, 16th house. Amazing. Now, going back here, we are clearly seeing some type of processes from here being used, right? Basically coming from here. We see that at the beginning here, right there, right? Instead of 4 rows, they're using 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead of numbers with 4-bit, they're using 5-bit. It looks like someone was trying to temper the original information, right? Someone was trying to play around with the original information, which is here, right? Right? So, the divination system in the Book of Faith, right, as we can see, as we have seen in the title of the book, comes from ancient Africa. They said, yeah, it's written ancient Egypt, right? So clearly we know it comes from the continent of Africa, right? And knowing that within the continent of Africa, we have the Dogon, the Bamana divination system being studied by who? By Ron Eklash. He went to get initiated in Kemet. Yes, he got initiated. And he said himself,
Stop asking
my
research
bad,
questions to chat.
my bad. Right. So this man is an American scientist who went to study and got initiated by the Dogon, right? The Bamana priest, right? And he went back home and he wrote article and share his information. He even went on the TED show that you see right there to present the findings. And they have been afterwards, right, be able to come up with improving the Google. I'm trying to find that section to show you the deterministic scale and self-arrangement, self-order right here. Look at that. It is in the Google search. Hold on. Right. Look at that. It is in Google search. Actually, the reason that Google was such a success. This is no joke, y'all. This is serious stuff. Right? So, we are the son of the continent. We are the son of the continent. But we are more lean towards religion. We are more towards lean through the way of life of the Westerners. We need to be more and more connected, and we need to start reconnecting more and more to the continent. And when I say reconnecting, is also being careful in the process, because we have had a lot of infiltration in the process. Yes, even African spirituality has been infiltrated, and I keep saying this. So you have to remain focused, right? You have to make sure that you do your own diligent research before you give yourself, right, into some type of so because we have a lot of people who came up with the stories and things like that. So we also raising awareness in the process, right? And I strongly recommend you start with the people in your village, the people of your lineage in your family. They will find you and they will lead you somewhere. Don't just take the airplane and go into a village or meet someone at the airport who is going to take you somewhere, right? You need to make contact to build relationship with people who will help you in the process, right? Do not just find anybody online or randomly like that and give yourself to that person. You have to be patient. Don't rush. Take your time to study the people around you, right? Right. Let me take some coffee here, guys. So Google, TikTok already want me to fill the puzzle. All right. So where was I? Now, so we clearly seeing the Bamana process here being part, or there are some similarities with what we see here when it comes to the book of faith, right? The book of faith here. So clearly we have a similarity. Now, as I was going through this, right, this process explained by Mr. Ron Eklash, right, we do have the 16 symbol. Let me remove this. The 16 symbol, right, which are going to allow for 65,536 combination. And also in IFA, we speak of 256, right? But it can go even further than 256. Yes, it can go further than 256 symbols. You can scale that up to, right, beyond 65,536, right? Now, yesterday I was putting some information together in the slide, right? So we are going to look into it. So what I have here is the divination system and information of the so-called people called the Siddiqui. So we're going to look at the Siddiqui divination system. We're also going to look at the geomancy system that they had in Europe, right? So let me look here if I can find that source. So let's look at this tab. We got that one. So yeah, it should be in this one, the CD key. Okay. And let me see here, another tab. Let's see. Yeah, D only, if you want to add something, go ahead while I'm pulling this thing up.
Yeah, I was just searching on YouTube now. Then I wrote this text, how it was written on that. I think it's less than 2 minute video, how the king of Ife explained about the name I told you before, about the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
So I just sent it. It's on YouTube. It's less than 2 minutes. And then secondly, what I discovered about the mathematics, is quite different from the one I was talking about, the one about the Mabunda, or I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Yeah, and even the recent mathematics now, they are still five in number. Anyway, they if you look at the what they call it, this the Greek mathematics, this Latin, it's always V. From V, it's come back to minus, right? And then when you look at this recent mathematics, it's also multiplied by 2, because every sign of these numbers, they are 2. They are always 2 inside this 0 to 9. If you can recognize it as well.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
because when you look, the same 0 symbol is the same also as 1 symbol, because when you look at 1, in another position is 0. It look at 1, but when you turn it straight to your eye, you will see, for example, take a pen in your hand, when you look at it, it has 0. When you look at it in vertical, is it not vertical? Yeah. And then, I mean horizontal. You understand? But when you straight it back, it looks like 1. And then 2 is also similar to 5. 3 is also twins from 8. And 4 is also the same as 7 as well. And 6 is also 9. Everything, when you put them, they just double it up somehow,
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I see discover.
Yeah, send me the video. I will look into it.
Yeah, I just wrote the name already, that was on YouTube. This is exactly how they wrote it. They said, One of Ife explained how the name Pharaoh came to be.
Okay.
Because it's like the African people moved to the northern to create those empire at that time, I guess. Because it's like the crown was brought from the southern Africa side and to the northern Africa.
Okay.
But I guess, but if you can just write what I wrote down on it, of if I explain how the name Pharaoh came to be, it's just a 2 minutes. It's less than 2 minute discussion.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but I cannot play video.
Okay, you can play. Exactly.
Yeah. I can just put the sound. We can. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it first, and then we're gonna play it maybe next time, right? I want to watch it first. Yep. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. But maybe I can send you on your direct message if possible.
Okay. Okay. Sure. No problem.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So yesterday I was skimming through this document, guys, and it blew my mind. I was not expecting at all to see the divination system of the Bamana in Madagascar, right? Now, this is a map, right? I got from a source. That doesn't mean that the map is accurate, y'all, right? Again, it's not because we are reading a document that makes the document a fact. No, we're researching. We have to apply common sense, critical thinking, and discernment, right? So, I was reading about the Siddiqui, and I basically landed on a section of this document, right? Let me go back to the document I'm referring to. This one is something else, right there. So this document here in the section called, and I think I posted this in the Telegram already, right? So it is a document that speaks of the different divination system in Africa. And I was just browsing and skimming through it. So I came to this section here, the Siddiqui of Madagascar. And this has prompted the need to research who were the Sikidi, who are the Sikidi, who were the true original Sikidi of Madagascar. Now, why am I asking this question? Because the divination system found within the Sikidi of Madagascar is exactly the same as the Bamana. Now, we are going to show the similarity, right? We are going to show the similarity. So, first, 4 numbers are generated. You see here, you start with 4 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, or you start with 4 house, right? Let me zoom in. Now, for the first step, instead of writing down the dashes and pairing them up 4 times to generate the 4 first number, right? They start with these number already placed in this table. Basically, they have names. They start with the 4 house. So a compound with the 4 house, they have names for it. This one is Vohitra, Fa, and so on, right? They have the 4 house. Now, in the process of generating the number 5, 4, and 6, look at that. You see here, column 1 is Tate, Harina, column 2, column 3, column 4. These are the 4 first number. Now, how do you generate the 5th, right? The 5th sign, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th sign. How do you do that? You read them sideways. Oh, you read. So Zatovo is going to be what? Zatovo is going to be 2, 1, 1, 1. Marina is going to be 1, 2, 1, 1. Veivavi is going to be 2, 1, 1, 1. And then Faha is going to be 1, 2, 2, 1. Uh-oh. That's what we just did here. You see how this column here, this first row became the first column. 1, 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 2, 1. Wait a minute. Let me enlarge this. You remember this? This is in the same document. You see this one? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Those are the first 4 numbers. Known. They have names. How do you generate number 5? You see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is number 5? Number 5 comes from what? The rotation, right, of the first row. Right here. So instead of reading vertically, right? This is number 1, vertical. You read vertically, you got your first 4 number. For the 5th number, you just read horizontally. You go horizontally, you read them. So the fact that there is a rotation and there is a reading of sideway, a sideway reading in the system, we already see the similarity with the Bamana. Right here, you do a sideway reading. Right, and I have another, right? I have another representation for the sideway reading, which is this one. Look at the sideway reading. Look at number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Number 5 is what? Look at that. You take the first row or the first row of the top of the column. You take the number of the top of the column, you make a row, you make a new column here. So basically you take the head, right? You take the head of all 4 first sign and you form the number 5th, right? The number 5th column. Next number, look at that. You take all the next becomes the column of the 5th of the 6th number. 7 number, the bodies. You take all the bodies, you read them sideways, you get number 7. Number 8, you take all the feet, you put there, bam. That's how you have your first 8 number. How do you proceed next? You're pairing these number into 2 by doing the parity check. You pair this one and that one. You pair this one and that one, you get a new number. You pair this one and that one, you get a new number. You pair this one and that one, you get a new number. And you keep doing the same thing all the way to here. Right? All the way to here. I find this very amazing. And for the last number, you take the first and the 15 number to get the 16. You take the first and the last, the 15 one, right, to get the 16. This is this process, this example that I have on the screen here, right? This specific example here comes from the source. Let me go back to the source. So clearly, we see the Bamana principle and system all the way to Madagascar. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, y'all. This is the Bamana. that help basically improve Google search. Today, as we are speaking, the Bamana principle of deterministic chaos of self-organization is actually built into Google as we are speaking. And we've been using it. The knowledge of our ancestor. We've been using it. Same thing with IFA. I just read a document to you showing how they are using the principle of IFA to improve the computer data system and audio. Here, I want to know who are the Siddiqui people. Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the live. Who are the Siddiqui people in Madagascar? And the Siddiqui people are in the southern part of Africa, right? So you have to go through Southern Africa, South Africa. You have to cross the water before getting to Madagascar, right? So those people there, they have basically the knowledge of the Bamana people. Yes, they had it. They have it, right? They have the knowledge of the Bamana people. What is the principle of putting the number, right? Let's start here. Look at that. 1 and 2. First line. 1 plus 2 gives what? Let's do this one. The same principle found within the Bamana. Look at that. If you do, for example, odd and odd gives you even. You see that? Odd and odd gives you even. Odd and even gives you odd. Even and odd gives you odd. Odd and even gives you odd. Odd is 1. Number 1 is odd. Number 2 is even. If you do 1 and 2, you get a 1. 2 and 1, you get a 1. 2 and 2, you get a 2. 1 and 1, you get a 2. Yeah. Odd and odd, you get even. Even, you get even. Even, odd, you get odd. Odd, even, you get odd. You see that? So what I'm trying to show here is we know that odd and even and odd do not change regardless of where you are. But I am stressing here on the mechanism. First 4 number are generated. Next, you read sideways. After you read sideways, you start pairing 2 by 2. It's right here. That step is right here. The generation of the lower 8 figures. So let's see. I skipped something. Where is A? Right? Let's start with the A. So we have here, right? The generation of the lower 8 figures from the 4 mother figure takes place as follows. For convenience, the 4 vertical mother figures are number 1 through 4. Look at that. For convenience, the 4 vertical mother figure are 1 through 4. What are the mother figure? Right? It's right here. You see here? 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 mother figure. Right? So the 4 vertical mother figure are number 1 through 4. The 5th figure is the horizontal row comprising the top of column 1 through 4. The 5th figure, this is the 5th, right? This is the 5th figure right there. The 5th figure is the horizontal row. Horizontal row. This is horizontal, right? Horizontal row comprising the top of column 1 through 4. Right there. Zatovo. So now you read sideways. So you take the form mother figure. Then to form the fifth one, you just read sideways. You take the head. You take the neck. You take the body. You take the legs. And you form 4 new numbers by just flipping, by just reading sideways, which is the same process we see here in the Bamana, right there, in the Bamana, or right here, right? Or right here, right there. This here is also found where in geomancy in Europe. The European geomancy is using 100% the Bamana process. They're also using Ifa, of course. But what I've been learning lately is also, in addition to Ifa, they have the Bamana divination, right, through the sand, the Bamana divination sand, incorporated into the European geomancy, right? Now, here we are learning about the Siddiqui people. Now, the 6 to 8 figure, where is 6? Right? This is 7, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, we are told the 5th figure is the horizontal row comprising the top of column I2, right? 1 through 6, right? 1 through 4, I'm sorry. The 6 to 8 figure are manifested in the same way. So we've done that. Now, the 9th figure is called Lalana. The 9th figure, Lalana, is formed by the addition together, line by line, of figure 1 and 2. See that? The 9th figure, Lalana, is formed by the addition together, line by line, of figure 1 and 2. Where is figure 1 and 2? This is 1, figure 1, and figure 2. What do we do here? We add together 1 and 2. And the 1 and 2 becomes what? The 1 and 2 becomes the 9th figure. Where is the 9th house here? The 9, right? Where is 9? This is 9, Lalana. You see that? Lalana. What is Lalana? Lalana is adding these two together, right? We are told Lalana is adding, right, the first and the second together. So watch this. So we're gonna add this row 1, this column 1 and this column 2, and it's gonna become Lalana. It's gonna become 9, right? So let's check 1 and 2. So single dot, double dot, that's odd, even. Bam, we have odd. Even, odd is odd. Odd, even is odd. Even, odd is odd. So all of this is one single, 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 single. Because single, right, 1 and 2 gives you a 1. 2 and 1 gives you a 1. 1 and 2 gives you a 1. 2 and 1 gives you a 1. That's the parity check, right? If you add an odd number with an even number, you get an odd number. If you add an even number with an odd number, you get an odd number. So the odd number is the 1. 1 is odd, 2 is even. Bam. This is the same principle. Look at that. This is the Bamana DOGON. What happened here? Look at this. You take the first and the second, you get this one. In Bamana, this is the first number. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It depends on how you go. But we clearly see, right, the pairing of the first and the second the third, and the fourth right there. And then you take the result of this, you pair them up again to get another set of number. That's what they're doing here. We clearly have evidence that the Bamana made it here. Right? They are not using, you see here, they are not using the sand, they are not using the curry, they are not using the chaplet, right? And they basically start with a known set of 4 mother sign. They call this the mother sign. This is where they start. It's standard, so they don't need to write in the sand, right? And then they proceed the same way as we've seen over here with the Bamana. So the question is, how possibly the Bamana divination system ended up in Madagascar, right? Now, the other question is, how possibly the Bamana sand divination made it to Madagascar and not to South Africa? That's impossible. It is impossible for the Bamana system to make it to Madagascar without going through South Africa. It is impossible, right? It isn't. This is Madagascar. It is impossible for this to have made it to Madagascar the way it is structured without going to South Africa. And then here I actually see, right, the legend. You see the legend here? The legend here resembles this legend. What is this legend here? It says Sidiki of Madagascar and Comoros Island. Okay, the Comoros Island, right? The Comoros Island is off the coast of Tanzania, I think, right? So how did the Bamana system ended up here without going through South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, all of that, Congo, right? The Dogon are all the way up here. So that means that our ancestors migrated and were present first in all these places, and they used the same divination system, because they tried to give credit to the Arabs and say, oh, the Arabs brought it there. No, the Arab themselves got it from African people. It's not the other way around. Because we have found in Ifa, we have verses, prescription of medicine in Ifa that directs, right, the Babalao to mix specific herbs and plants for the patient. Look at this. This is a prescription against cough. In Ifa, prescription against cough. In the prescription against cough, the number called, or the sign called Obara Ofun was obtained. Obara Ofun is represented by this sign, or by just changing the single bar into a 1 and the double bar into a 0. Bam, we have the binary system we know in computer science. By just changing the single bar into a 1, the double bar into a 0, we have 85 hex, which is 133, right, in base 10. This will correspond to the chapter 134 of the encyclopedia of the Ifa sign. What does that say? The verse says this. The verse says this. Mix the leaf of Oja, given botanical name, this one, Orombo, right? Drink. And then you have to say, Oja, take out from my mouth this bad cough. And Verger is the whitey dude who is writing this book. It's not even You cannot even say that, oh, it's a black man who wrote this, so maybe he's lying. Virgil is a colonizer, right? Just like many others, they came to Africa to learn. I don't even know why I put this name in green. Usually I reserve green for good stuff. So let's give him this, right? The source here is a white European. It's not even a black person saying this. Now, prescription number 2, right? Prescription number 2, Babalawo throws the chain and he obtains this number here. And you can convert it to decimal, right? Then he get the number 55, which correspond to the 56th chapter of the encyclopedia, right there. What does the verse says? The verse says, the verse is called Imu Eje Polara, making blood many in the body. Is arranged under the verse Owori Osa. What does Owori Osa says? Interpretation of Babalawo. Ewe apeje pe eje pupowa si arabi. Oh, leaf of apeje, pour blood a lot into my body. Or ewe amuje mu eje wa si arabi, leaf of amuje, bring blood to my body. Again, this is the whitey man, right? Confirming this. The 2 leaves, apeje and amuje, when used separately, bring blood to the body. Really? Yes. So he went to check on what is amuje and what is apeje, right? He went to check. You know, the Muzungu will go check, right? The 2 leaves, apeje and amuje, when used separately, actually and do really bring blood to the body. Whoa. Whoa. Now, apeje is not identified taxonomically. Now, for someone who says that, oh, Ifa comes from the Arab, my question is, in order to deconstruct that easily, I have to use Ifa verses. For example, give me the Arabic name of apeje. It does not exist. Why it does not exist? Because apeje, in the Western paradigm or Western scientific book, they don't know what is apeje. They have not been able to identify taxonomically what is apeje. So the name of apeje in scientific book at the time this book was written did not exist. Maybe they were able to name it now today, but at least during the time at the time this right article was written, apeje was not known in science. So apeje was not known. The apeje the ancestor been using is not known in science, not known in French, not known in English, not known in Spanish, not known in Arabic. So if you tell me that Ifa comes from the Arabs or from the Europeans or from wherever you want, where is apeje in Arabic? It does not exist. We can easily debunk those people who claim it comes from the Arabs. We can easily debunk that. Very simple. So that's one thing we presented Friday, I think, right? We broke that down nicely. Going back here, it is clear and evident to me that our ancestor made it all the way to even Madagascar. And I would need to investigate on who are the Sidi people. Who are the Sidi people? right? Who are the CD people? Now, the Bamana system was already known in Europe among those who practiced geomancy. So we are going to name, right? We can look at the source here, right? This, I got the source. The source of this information is in the same book that I've been using. I just want to quickly show you how in Europe they were practicing their own manipulation of the symbols, right? Look at that. Look at that. How many rows we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. It's similar to the Bamana. You start with drawing randomly 4 rows. And then you start pairing 2, 2, 2, 2. You left with 1, 1. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. You left with 1. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. You left with 0. 0, you put 2, right? 0 is even. Same process here. What do we notice here? This start and begin exactly as the Bamana. The Bamana said divination. And you do this how many times? 4 times. 2, 3, 4. And that's how you generate the first 4 number. Yo, those people, I'm telling you, they came to Africa, they took the knowledge and they went back to cook it and to do their own tweaking, and they tried to change stuff into it, right? And it happened to be from our ancestor, y'all. This is unbelievable. Like, for those who probably missed, this is the Bamana. Look the process of the Bamana right here. What does it say? This is from Eklash, Ron Eklash, the man in the video. You draw 4 lines. Here they draw 4 circles. Look at that. They randomly draw circles. They randomly draw lines. Then you pair them into group of 2. They pair them into group of 2, and they do the parity check, right? Do you have 1 circle left or no circle left after doing the pairing? Look at that. Same thing here. You pair them, and what you left is, if you have 1 left, single bar. If you have none left, you just take by default the 2, because everything is paired up, so you put the 2 there. Or when it is paired up, there is 0. Nothing is single, right? So 0 is an even number. Is an even number. You put the double bar, and so on. We see that this level of manipulation of the symbol of the Bamana is found within European. This is the Bamana, y'all. This is not even the so-called Napoleon. You remember Napoleon? And then to it, they have attached, right, the south, the east, the 4 element, right, the 4 element and things like that. So let's go to the book in page 175. Look at this. 174. The right-left direction is obviously a carryover from geomancy's Arabic origin. Look at what they're calling a carryover of Arabic origin. This is Bamana. This is the Bamana right there. It's not Arabic origin. It is best to avoid the temptation of anticipating or counting them, which can result in unconscious manipulation of the divination. If you are working with the sand tray, you may have to note the number of digs, points made in the sand, every 4 lines or so. And after transferring the number to your paper, rub them out and proceed to the next 4 lines. However, if you are working solidly with a pencil and paper, you can go ahead until you have done at least 16 lines of dots. A few more will matter as you just count 80 lines after 16. It is, however, advisable to have at least something in the vicinity of a dozen dots per line. Look at that. A dozen dots per line. It is advisable to have at least something in the vicinity of a dozen dots per line. What does that mean? Well, it's right here in the Book of Fate of Napoleon. What are they using here? They're using around a little over than 12 dots because they're following the 12 sign of the zodiac, right? So you always have 12 strokes before the comma here. You see the comma? You always have 12 stroke here. And then these come randomly and rapidly. So this author is suggesting that it be around 12, right? Because this is a European style. They've been doing that, right? After translating an ancient African manuscript, right? It is, however, advisable to have at least something in the vicinity of a dozen dots per line. Next, cancel the points in each line, a pair at a time, until only 1 or 2 points are left. Alternatively, you can count the total number of points in the line. If the total is odd, mark 1 point as the remainder. If even, mark 2 points as the remainder. Observing the operation from right to left, we get wow. Here ends the physical work of the divination. You see, after you have done this 4 times to get 16 what? 16, right? 16 rows, right? This is going to generate 4 numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 numbers are generated. From here on, the figure formed from the above dots are manipulated to give an answer to the question. So you can lay aside your sand tray, slate, pebbles, or dice, or work solely on paper. After this part here, the work is on paper. In order to understand the details, on the left-hand side on the page, it is useful to quote Christopher Catan. Christopher Catan. How can we be quoting Christopher Catan into a Bamana? They stole the Bamana principle and even the step-by-step on how to generate the first 4 set of number. Damn, hold on. Now, let me show you exactly what I mean, right? What I mean by the process that we are reading there. They basically plagiarize the Bamana. Look at that. The process is repeated 4 times, resulting in 4 symbols. What process is repeated 4 times? Well, it's this process here. This is the process that is repeated 4 times. You draw 4 lines, you draw 4 rows, right? 4 rows randomly, and then you pair them up. You pair the strokes. If you are left with 1, that's odd. You put a single bar. If you are left with none and you have been able to pair up all the strokes, right? Then you put this double bar, basically. So you will always left with either 1 stroke or no stroke after doing the pairing. 1 stroke or no stroke. 1 stroke is the single bar. No stroke is the double, because double is even, right? The double is the 0, basically. right there. And they're saying that you have to repeat this 4 times. It's right here. The process is repeated 4 times, resulting in 4 symbols. That's what we see here. You see, the process is repeated 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 numbers are generated. You see that? 4 numbers are generated. And then he goes on here to say, in order to understand the details on the left-hand side of the page, it's useful to quote Christopher Catan. The Dogon and Bamana people do not even know who the hell is Christopher Catan. Every pricky point signifies a starry, and every line an element, and every figure the 4 quarters of the world, so that a system of symbolism may be imposed upon the lines of points. Thus, the first line is attributed to fire, the second to air, the third to water, the fourth to earth. Guys, the Dogon do not need all of this. The Dogon do. You see how they took the knowledge of the Dogon and they basically created, right, a different process, right? They basically just created a totally new process out of the Dogon. Wow, they added stuff into it. And then they're going to claim that they are the one who basically came up with this process here. After they have been adding stuff and they quoting Catan. The Dogon do not even know who the hell is Catan. The Dogon been doing this cleanly, right? For thousands of years without Catan, right? So they come in, they copy the system and the stage, and they come here and do, let's go on. Now, the same sequence repeats for the 5th to 8th line, the 9th to the 12th line, and also the last 4 similarly. Each group of 4 lines, which is to become a geometric figure in its own right, is attributed to an element. The first figure of 4 lines to fire, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, right? So we are clearly seeing here the Bamana divination system ending up to Madagascar. Yes, Madagascar. Who brought it there? Who are the Sidiki people? There's no way you can get to Madagascar without going through the southern part of Africa, right? Unless you're coming from the Indian Ocean. Unless you're coming from the Indian Ocean, right? So there's one more thing I want to show here in that source, right? Let me just pull it up. Now, these are the Siddiqui people. And we are clearly seeing that the way they have been wrapping and generating the number after the first figure, and the first figure are called the mother sign, right? The first 4 is called the mother sign. And then they're doing the type of parity, pairing and performing parity check, right? So, and also they have this diagram here. This one. The Siddiqui people. This year kind of like blew my mind yesterday. Why? Because I have word has TFA. TFA. I have Mamoha Efa. It sounds like Ifa. You see? EFA. Ifa. Huh. And we have the Chi. The Chi sounds like the She. Right? In Igbo spirituality, the She is your personal ancestral guardian. They call it the She. which will correspond in Yoruba is going to be your orisa, your personal orisa, right? In Igbo, it's called the shi. So here we have the T, T-Efa. The Efa is close to the Ifa. So I need to investigate on these names, right? Now, on this side, we have the Chinahi, and then here we have the Chininin, right? The Chinin, something like that. But I find these very interesting, right? We need to look into the etymology, the meaning of these words, before drawing a conclusion, right? So we cannot just look at the word and then it sounds like something, right, that we've seen before, and then we draw a conclusion. No, it is a leading information. So we just have to take notes and continue digging. But we cannot just say, oh, it sounds like this, so it must be that. No. Right? It doesn't work like that. Right? So we have to be very careful, because I've seen, some conclusion being drawn. It is a leading point. I agree. But can we draw a conclusion directly? No, not yet. We need additional, right, information in order to draw any conclusion. Right? But I find this quite interesting. The TFA, the T, all right, the FA, the IFA, the EFA, right? So who are the Sidiki people? The Sikidi, I always say the Sidiki. It's written Sikidi, right? Sikidi, right? And we have found the Sikidi people when we were studying the Bavenda and the Shona divination, right? We were studying the Bavenda and the Shona people, right? Divination system. We came across this table, this document, right there. Now, I have a better understanding on what is the Sikidi, because I saw how the Sikidi people generate the mother sign. You see, I saw how they generated the number, right? They follow the exact same process as the Bamana people, the Dogon, the Bambara people. They follow the same process. So who are the Sikidi? We need to find that out. And if the Sikidi can tell us the history of this divination system within their tribe, because if you go on Google, you're going to find all kind of stuff. If you go to Google, right, you're going to find all kind of information. So it would be good to actually have the people who understand maybe the language and who know the Sikidi people, right? Look at the representation here. They're using the double circle and the single circle. Look at that. Double, single, double, and single, single, right? They're using the principle of the double circle and single. And not too far from them, we have the Shona, right? This is a Shona name. And here they are using the empty circle and the filled up circle, right? You see the dark, right? The dark one, the dark circle, and then the empty circle right there. So they do it. So basically they're using the same principle, but instead of the double, right, the double circle, right, they're using a different color for that, or different representation right there, right? Which system I found this representation in Ifa. This is also an old way to represent the sign in Ifa when using the divination through the palm nuts. So let me show you, right? It's good to speak with sources. So let me show you, this is the Shona. The Shona is right here, right? Let's show that again. Let's put that here. This is Shona. And this is how they represent, right, the sign. So I'm gonna go to my source, right? My IFA source, which is here, and we are going to look into this table. So I'm gonna do palm. The palm nut. So that should be, actually I have it in my slide. So let's just go to the slide, and I should have that here, right? I've put that somewhere here. So I'm gonna show the IFA divination representation system, in which, right, they are using the circles, right, the empty circle, and then the different representation. So this is something different. Where did I put it? 1512. Let me look in the set of IFA. Palm nuts. Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the live. Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Yeah. I hope everyone is doing fine, right? And I wish all of you a wonderful beginning of the week. So we are here doing what we do. We ain't stopping, right? We are not gonna stop. We will never stop. Never, ever. Now, let's look at this. So I got the source here, right? In one slide. I actually put them here. So this is from the source I had on the screen. I posted the source in the Telegram group yet. This is the table 1, the 16 basic figure of IFA, right? We know this representation. Ogbe, Oyeku, Iwori, Edi, Obara, and so on, all the way to Ofun, right? Now, did you know that in IFA, in the same source that I have, we have, right, using the divining chain. Using the divining chain. So technically, using the divining chain, you should be having this. Look at that. Circles. And then you have circle with kind of like a cross inside. Look at the shoulder. Look at the shoulder representation, right? Circles. Let's put them side by side, you know, so that you see how connected the ancestors were, right? You see the representation using the chain, the opele. So this is the old way of representing, right? This is using the dividing chain, one of the old way. There's not only just one way of representing the symbol, right? So here we have the old way in Ifa. You see Ogbe, Oyeku, Iwori, and all that. Look at that. We did the shoulder. This is shoulder, right? Shoulder name. 4 tablet system divination. This is open, this is closed, right? The empty circle means open. The closed circle, right? The filled up circle or the dark one means closed, right? So let's type, this is page, let me see if I have the page number here. It says, I can type figures of Ifa. Yeah, let's go type figures of Ifa, right? Let's type figures of Ifa. Figures of Ifa, right there. And then we're gonna land on the table. There you go. See that? This is in the book. And then we are going to look at the nomenclature. I think I have the nomenclature too in the slide. So, yep, you got it. So, nomenclature, right there. Concave, concave inner surface, concave inner surface upward, which is equivalent to a single mark, or with the surface downward equivalent to a double mark. Now, representing the concave inner side up has a circle right there. You see, concave inner side up has a circle, an empty circle, and the convex outer side up has, right, a circle with a cross inside, right? So this is concave inner side up, right? And then the convex outer side up has this one. So basically this can be open and this one closed. And you see how they put the X inside to say that it is closed. X, right? Meaning, right, it is closed. The door is shut. The window is closed. You put the bar, right? Usually when you close the door, you put a bar. When you seal a door or an entrance, you put an X or different bar to say, yeah, there's no trespassing here, right? No trespassing here. So the way is shut down, yeah, it's closed, right? So basically, we have the same principle here. You see all open and all closed, right? Within the Shona, and they are using what? A representation system that resemble basically one old way of representing the sign in Ifa, right there. Open, close, close, open. All open, right? Basically, all open is Ogbe. You see here? Ogbe. All open, right there. So that will correspond to the all open of the Shona over here. Now we have to look at the interpretation within the Shona people. What is the meaning of the all open? If it is open within Ifa, it's also open within the Shona, right? So I'm expecting the meaning and the content of, right, the verse associated with it to be close or similar to what we know in Ifa, right? So clearly, African ancestrality, right, is something we definitely need to study. We need to dig more and more into our ancestral knowledge, right? The way of the ancestor. Okay, wait, Sean. Okay. So we need to study more and more, and to bring the people together, not to set the people apart, right? We need to share information. So the greatest thing, I know people are wondering and say, oh, okay, what can we do now? Oh, okay, what should we do now? Do not wait on nobody. Do not wait on nobody to come from the sky, or no Messiah. There will be no Messiah. It's you. You are the one who can bring about change. It's not me. It will be never me, a human. It will be you. The only person who can bring change around your environment is yourself. Do not wait on someone to come change or to come bring about change. No, I keep saying this. You have to do the work within your own community, around within your family, right? You can pick and select 2 or 3 younger one, your nephew, your kids, right? Those that you know, and then you start to sharing information with them, right? It can be university student or a high school student, right? You share a book, you share something with them, a book, information, a website, links, right? These days, a lot of people are connected on the internet. So sharing information, I think, is gonna have a good impact, because people are always waiting for everybody to unite. It would never happen. It would never happen. We will never all unite. Don't wait on unity. Get down to business. Get to work. The way you get to work is you don't wait. You don't have to wait on nobody and nobody to tell you anything. We're just sharing information here. Take the same information and pass it along. Pass it on. So by sharing videos, by sharing books, links, you are already doing the work. You are already doing the work. You may not know the impact that may have, but we have seen positive result with just sharing information. We have seen amazing result with your sharing information by just telling and talking about the things that we're talking here. Just imagine a younger kid who is going to the university. He's confused about, oh, do I have to do computer engineering or do I need to do music and dancing? Once he lands into a video that breaks down ancestral knowledge, and this being at the basis of computer science and computer engineering, I bet you is going to change the whole concept, the whole perspective of those younger kids. There will be more and more attached and connected to tech, attached and connected to computer, because they know their ancestor knowledge is embedded into those cell phones. Someone will look like them, right? Will put together that corpus of knowledge, basically allow for computer science to flourish, right? Now, I have a set of information here. I wanted to show you a list of the French emperor and kings and queens who have been using the African divination system, right? They've been using the African divination system. Let me see, right? I think we have, I should have the list here or some screenshot. Let me see. Yeah, or it should be here. Yeah, it should be here. During the Renaissance, the apogee of geomancy. Did you know geomancy attained its apogee during the so-called the Renaissance in Europe, right? And we have, for example, this one here, right? Let me show you. Let me expand this. This one is, look at that. The Geomancy of Richard II, 1391, at the British Museum. What do you see here? Bam, African divination symbol. And it has a British Museum. This are the, look at that, guys. Our museum in Europe is full of our ancestor artifact. And this guy takes African knowledge. He's called Richard II in 1391. They kept it at the British Museum, and they're going to show little European that this is what their ancestors have done. Oh, Lord. So Richard II in 1391, he's claiming that, look, we've been wondering, where are the artifacts of Europeans and Americans? Where is it? They are none. But this guy will use African divination symbols, Ifa, Bamana, right? And he will take the symbol and make his symbol his, and they will even put it in the museum. Oh, come on, man. Come on, y'all. This is so hilarious, man. This is insane. This is sick. Nah. Now, that's not all. Guys, that's not all. Watch this. This one here, what is this? This is the Tabulae Humfridi. It's called Tabulae Humfridi Dosis Gloucester British Museum. This is another one. These are the African sign found in Ifa, in Bamana, right? They're putting those sign in the museum. And look at the date, y'all. Look at the date. That was around the time right before, right? Look at that, 1391. 1391. Columbus, 100 years later, will basically make the trip and claim that he discovered the America. So before 1492, before Columbus, what were they doing? They were trying to read the future, right? They were trying to practice what our ancestors were practicing, basically, right? And it looks like it was not working for them, y'all. I don't know, but it looks like for some of them, right? Some of them, it was not really, maybe because they changed the principle, they changed a lot of stuff. I've shown you how they've been altering and adding stuff to it and replacing things and things like that. No, you cannot mess up with this type of knowledge, right? You cannot play with it. You cannot play with this type of knowledge, right? Now, I have another one here. This is the Geomantic Consultation by Simon Foreman. Geomantic Consultation. They even documented it. Look at that. They were trying to have European Babalawo version. Babalawo European. You see that? Right? This is Babalawo European. The Muzungu is trying to become a Babalawo. Right? That's why we see them actually coming to Africa to get initiated. Right? During the Renaissance, right? During the Renaissance, it was what they were trying to, you know, the geomancy reach its peak. Now, in this document here, I was reading something a little bit troublesome. Not troublesome, but I think I heard this before. I heard this being mentioned before on TikTok. And I don't know if this is the same stuff or not. But I heard people mentioning this type of stuff before. And basically, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Catan is known as a man who basically corrupted African divination system. And he tried to make it his by drawing a bunch of line and basically saying that, oh, if I erase over here, one line becomes two line. If I erase the two line, the two line becomes four line. If I continue to erase, I get to infinity. What is that? Anybody can do that. And he got credit for that. So Catan is the guy basically known in Europe to be credited for infinity or something like that. So Catan explained what equipment is needed and recommends pen, ink, and paper. This is a divination process of European. According to Catan, he recommends that you have a pen, the ink, and the paper. Pen, ink, paper. Explaining that the use of the beans or other grains to produce geometric figure is in the manner of the courtesans of Bologna. Catan represents pen, ink, and paper, and he says that the use of the beans and other grain to produce geometric figure is in the manner of courtesans of Bologna. Huh. But Catan is in Europe. Bologna and the location of Catan is both Europe. But we have a group of people who are using what? Beans and other grain. Could this be maybe the black people who were in Europe and practicing this? Because the European version do not use bean. Just imagine a whitey man, a Muzungu, casting the chain with the cowrie and the beans and the palm nuts. It doesn't resonate and vibrate with them. So they've been using pen, ink, and paper. Yeah. The manipulation of palm nuts, cowries, it does not resonate, right? It is interesting that Catan has come across a modus operandi similar to the palm nut and bean manipulation of African geomancy, perhaps found in the Summa of Bartolome of Parma, which was composed in Bologna. So another possibility or option is the people in Bologna learned the African geomancy and brought it there. Or there were a group of black people there who were actually practicing that, because remember, the first European were African. Yes. And we're going to show that. We're going to prove that. I'm going to show my sources for that. Right? Now, there is another section here. Where is it? A very strange section. Maybe I didn't. Okay, I will find it. Now, there is a very strange section of some type of weird practice guy. Anyway, the geometric figures has portrayed in Henry Cornelius Agrippa's of Geomancy in fourth book of Occult Philosophy, London. Look at that. You see where the signs generated in African divination system, where it is ending, and how they've been taking the sign and incorporating the sign with the 7 planets, right, in our solar system and the 12 sign of the zodiac in order to come up with astrology, right? And to associate the sign, this Ifa sign or the Bamana sign with, right, the sign, astrology, the planets, and the constellation, right? So we in Africa, we have verses, right, behind each of these signs. Or, like we learned yesterday, the Bamana people, they don't need to memorize any verse. The system self-generate a narrative based on the sign obtained. The system self-generate, right, through what they call deterministic chaos. They want to call it pseudo-random, but it's not technically, there's no randomization into it. There's self-organization and generation of the number. But the Muzungu brain is wired differently, right? The Muzungu brain is wired differently. He sees the obtention of those numbers as pseudo-random, right? So, let's play the 4-minute video for one more time, right? It's very important. Let's just play that, right? I'm going to move this out of the way. We don't want, to be flagged again. And I'm going to go.
And they got very, wouldn't tell me. They said on one stroke, and not geometry was in a symbolic code. Now, he said, we know from experience that the farther up from the ground you go, the stronger the wind blows, right? It's just like a cost-benefit analysis. And I measured out the lengths of straw, put it on a log-log plot, got the scaling exponent, and it almost exactly matches the scaling exponent for the relationship between wind speed and height in the wind engineering hamper. So these guys are right on target for a practical use of scaling technology. The most complex example of an algorithmic approach to fractals that I found was actually not in geometry, it was in a symbolic code. And this was Bamana sand divination. And the same divination system is found all over Africa. You can find it on the East Coast as well as the West Coast. And often the symbols are very well preserved. So each of these symbols has 4 bits. It's a 4-bit binary word. You draw these lines in the sand randomly. And then you count off, and if it's an odd number, you put down 1 stroke, and if it's an even number, you put down 2 stroke. And they did this very rapidly, and I couldn't understand where they were getting, they only did the randomness 4 times. I couldn't understand where they were getting the other 12 symbols. And they wouldn't tell me. They said, no, I can't tell you about this. I said, well, look, I'll pay you. You can be my teacher, and I'll come each day and pay you. I said, it's not a matter of money. This is a religious matter. And finally, out of desperation, I said, well, let me explain George Cantor in 1877. And I started explaining, why I was there in Africa. And they got very excited when they saw the Cantor set. And one of them said, come here, I think I can help you out here. And so he took me through the initiation ritual for a Bamana priest. And of course, I was only interested in the math, so the whole time he kept shaking his head, going, I didn't learn it this way. But I had to sleep with a cola nut next to my bed, buried in sand, and give 7 coins to 7 lepers, and so on. And finally, he revealed the truth of the matter. And it turns out it's a pseudo-random number generator using deterministic chaos. When you have a 4-bit symbol, you then put it together with another one sideways. So even plus odd gives you odd. Odd plus even gives you odd. Even plus even gives you even. Odd plus odd gives you even. It's addition modulo 2, just like in the parity bit check on your computer. And then you take this symbol and you put it back in. So it's a self-generating diversity of symbols. They're truly using a kind of deterministic chaos in doing this. Now, because it's a binary code, you can actually implement this in hardware. What a fantastic teaching tool that should be in African engineering schools. And the most interesting thing I found out about it was historical. In the 12th century, Hugo of Santalia brought it from Islamic mystics into Spain. And there it entered into the alchemy community as geomancy, the divination through the earth. This is a geomantic chart drawn by for King Richard II in 1390. Leibniz, the German mathematician, talked about geomancy in his dissertation called De Combinatoria. And he said, well, instead of using 1 stroke and 2 strokes, let's use a 1 and a 0. And we can count by powers of 2, right? 1s and 0s, the binary code. George Boole took Leibniz's binary code and created Boolean algebra, and John von Neumann took Boolean algebra and created the digital computer. So all these little PDAs and laptops, every digital circuit in the world started in Africa. And I know Brian Eno says there's not enough African in computers, but I don't think there's enough African history, Brian Eno.
Once everything's perfectly organized, I'll start working on my thesis.
Grammarly will ensure you feel confident nailing your final thesis by supporting your writing journey from start to finish.
Wow. You heard it. You heard it. You heard it. This is serious stuff. Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the live, man. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. I hope you're having a warm, wonderful beginning of the week. I wish you a supernova beginning of your week, right? So you heard it. I don't know if you have to make any further comment, right? It is evident, it's clear. And I think the best thing we can do right now, do not wait on nobody to come make a change in your community. It starts with you. It starts with me within my own circle first, right? That's how we're going to be efficient. We're going to be more efficient by pushing and triggering the people to do the work within their own circle first, right? And then we're going to grow, and it's going to be super amazing if we can do that. Right? We will never all unite, unfortunately. It's sad, but it's not going to happen. So don't wait for unity. Don't wait for all black people in the world to unite. No, it will never happen. Right? Don't wait for 1,000 people to unite or 2,000 people to unite before you can do anything. It may not happen. Right? If you are 2 or 3 or 4 people and you want to do something, go ahead and do it. You don't have to wait until you reach 1,000 or 200 people before you do anything. And this type of video here, we need to put it out for our younger generation. Just by putting this video and sharing the video, sharing the link with the younger one, is going to have an impact. It's going to make a change, trust me. It's going to make a change. It's going to make a positive change. But because there are kids out there, if they just hear this, if they just hear that, the knowledge of the so-called primitive hunter-gatherer of his ancestor are actually currently being used in computer today. Oh, it's going to make them have wings. I'm telling you. Is going to make them have wings. So they're gonna go into that classroom with a totally different mindset, right? Ready to rock and roll, ready to excel in class and have better grades. We do have currently amazing result with the kids we are working on remotely on the Telegram. So that's why I'm a busy man, right? So we spend time on the Telegram doing amazing stuff, right? But I cannot be everywhere at the same time, right? I cannot, unfortunately. So I'm doing my part, and you guys need to take it to the next level, right? You need to take it to the next level, right? And I'm moving at my pace. I want to move at my own pace, right? But I appreciate all the suggestion, all the help, all the support, and we will never back down. We will never give up. We are into it all full stretch, right? So never let yourself be discouraged by what people say, people do. You will always find things like that. You will also always find people who will always try to say things to basically make you feel some type of way. I mean, I'm used to it. We're used to it, right? We are expecting that. It's normal. It's part of the process, right? But what I'm saying is, in order to be efficient, we need individually to do the work within your own family, within your brothers, sister, nephew, cousins. Share the video with them. Sharing the video with them only alone is major, right? So share the information, the sources, the books that we've been sharing, the videos we've been dropping. We are doing amazing on the channel. You can look at the videos. The one video in IFA, I don't know when it's going to stop, right? We have already reached 193 or 94,000 views, and it keeps going up by the thousand and the thousand every single day, right? So that means that our message is spreading. Our message is having an impact. It is opening the door, right? Nothing can stop it. There's nothing that can stop the video. The video, look at that, 194,000 views. And our first four videos is our videos. Our first four videos, right? Most views on the channel are about IFA, right? That's how powerful the communication language, the communication system of our ancestor currently being used in cell phone is basically doing. And we're gonna add the Bamana system with this video from Ron Eglash confirming that Google is currently using the search engine in Google is using the Bamana principle of deterministic chaos, self-organizing organization. Yo, the Bamana is another level. They don't need to memorize or have any verse attached to the sign. No, the system self-generate the narrative itself. They generated a sort of African type of natural AI. They let the sign generate a narratives. They don't say that, okay, this sign is this sign is called this name, this is called this name. There's a verse behind each sign. No. The Bamana understood that depending on the situation of the problem of the person, the location of the person, one verse may not be the same, going towards the same person the same way. It may not have the same impact, right? Unless you are a very specialized babalao or priest, because the priest, they know how to interpret one verse for different type of people. The same verse is going to have different interpretation for different people. In Bamana, there is no interpretation or a verse behind the sign. They let the system self-organizing and through deterministic chaos to bring a narrative, to create the narrative based on the situation. And that's exactly what they're using in Google search today. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you, everyone. I gotta get ready, right, to go do what I gotta do. I appreciate your time, your presence, your likes, right? Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the share, right? And we're going to continue doing an amazing job. The video speaks for itself. Our view, our videos, our followers, right? We're growing, and we're going to continue to grow. right? Because we having a message, right? We have a message dedicated for the Black people. So that's why our videos, you know, are having such a very good impact. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your support. And I should be back when possible, today or if not tomorrow. So thank you, y'all. Thank you, She Matters. All right. Thank you, everyone. You have a wonderful day. To all of you, I wish you a supernova, right? A supernova, wonderful beginning of the week, right? Thank you. Bye.